Hello again, everybody. So your presenters for today's webinar are Ben Edwards, our SVP of Business Development, and Ben Holmes, one of our developers who's been taking a leading role on developing this new solution. Before we run through today's webinar, I just want to touch on a few housekeeping items. Firstly, if you do have any audio issues, please let us know by messaging us in the chat box. Secondly, we are recording this webinar and we'll be sharing the link with you following today's session so that you can share it with your colleagues. Finally, we welcome any feedback you may have on our new edition app. In fact, we actually encourage you to give us your feedback. So please feel free to post your comments in the chat throughout the webinar. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Ben and Ben to get us underway.
Great, thank you, Sean. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So as Sean mentioned, my name is Ben Edwards. I'm SVP of Business Development here at PageSuite, and I work with a number of key clients, and I see potential PageSuite publishers right across the world. In fact, this week I've just come back from Denmark, and I listen to their business challenges and figure out how to better monetize their digital and mobile solutions.
Hi, I'm Ben Holmes. I've been developing this product for a number of months now, so I've got a good understanding of most of the elements of the new app, and I'm going to be showing some of the back-end systems and how the new additions are created.
Great, so first up, content slide. What have we got in this webinar? We've got a first glimpse of our brand new solution, the Edition product, and we've got visuals of the two front-end flows, as well as the back-end, which Ben will be showing. Hopefully you'll get a great feel for the cover-to-cover experience and how this fits alongside the e-paper experience. Then we'll be moving on to use cases and how potentially you can maximize this to deliver new editions, potentially target new audiences, spin-off brands, and so many more ideas outside, including resurrecting evening editions too. Then Ben Holmes will be showing some of the killer features, such as the highly automated solution we've got.
Yeah, so I'll be showing how we deliver an awesome app and web experience with a highly automated and a light editorial lift production solution.
Great, and then we're moving on to the engagement piece, which is the bolting in of all sorts of APIs, which is what PageSuite is sort of known for, our flexibility, and that will be integrating things like best-in-class analytics, CMSs, but also engaging content solutions like puzzles, weather, push notifications, and so forth. Then moving on towards the end of the webinar, we'll be doing a little piece on the monetization of the Edition product. So the key elements there will be premium advertising opportunities and also subscription models and how those will work with third-party subscription providers too. And finally, we'll be doing a question and answer session. I should also mention during the webinar, we've got a couple of polls and we'd really appreciate your feedback when we post those. Okay, so for those of you that don't know us, we are PageSuite and we're a leading digital solutions provider. We offer web and app, e-paper and feed-based products, and now obviously this new edition-based product too. We're 24/7, 365 days a year, and we've got brands right across the world, literally from as far west as the LA Times, right through to the Fiji Times in the east. And we've got clients and publishers in every continent. Some of the magazines and newspapers and periodical publishers, you can see their logos there. So what is the Edition app? And the great thing about this is it's actually the first time that we presented this to a large audience, and this web solution and app solution is delivered across iOS and Android, and as I mentioned there, it's also available as a progressive web application. The Edition format resonates with readers as a paid-for piece of content, and for so long, web-based feeds have been long associated with being free. What we're trying to do is repurpose that and package it up into a finishable edition with a cover-to-cover experience.
Yeah, so we can get this content by extracting everything from your print edition or e-paper and repurposing it, or we can also use XML or JSON feeds taken from your CMS provider.
The other reason why we've delivered this product is actually because of the pain points within the publishing industry. With digital advertising challenges and print advertising challenges, we wanted to create this as a new premium opportunity to re-engage with advertisers. And broadly speaking across the world, subscriptions is becoming an increasingly important component in publishing revenue streams. In fact, it overtook advertising in 2016 in North America. And as such, we're looking at ways to value add to valuable premium subscribers, be it print or bundled with digital subscribers. And this gives subscribers that increased opportunity to engage with content in a more mobile and tablet optimized way. So first off, we're going to be going through some of the commercial benefits. Now, these are use cases that we've seen live in the market, and also ideas that we've taken from our clients and leads who we've been visiting over the past 12 months or so. First off, and in no particular order, the edition product enables you to create brand new editions. Now, these can be mobile or tablet optimized products, and the edition solution can deliver that premium user experience in a fully branded and 100% automated creation. It could come from your print or your e-paper content, as Ben mentioned earlier, or simply be a more mobile optimized way of presenting the same content. Equally, it can actually be fed from your CMS and be completely different content. It really depends on your model and your market. The choice entirely is yours. The second option available from a new business and revenue driving perspective is actually targeting new audiences. The e-paper traditionally is for more traditional readers, so generally speaking, that tends to be a little bit older. And with publishers always trying to target new markets, maybe new younger demographics who might be more mobile savvy, we see this as a great way of packaging up content, giving people who are time poor a way to consume an edition whilst on the go. We've had some good feedback recently about the opportunity to resurrect previous print brands that have since died, which could be an evening edition. So, Ben, I know you were on site recently in America, and that resonated quite strongly there. And what that enables you to do is actually maximize an afternoon and evening audience. We see the e-paper as the most popular in the morning and up to lunchtime, and that's from a newspaper perspective when the print hits the newsstands. That's slightly differently with magazines, but for a newspaper, editorial teams then create content throughout the day, and we can package that up into a finishable edition for the commute or for the at-home reading time. Because the e-paper expertise that we've got in-house, you can even have potentially the replica delivered in the morning, and then this edition product actually delivered in the evening or the afternoon if you wish.
So do you think this product could actually replace print?
So that's the fourth point. I think longer term it could do, yeah. And maybe where subscribers or distributors are widespread, you could actually use this to deliver an edition potentially in territories where the high print and distribution costs are actually eating into the margins. So I still love print, but I think that replacing it would be hard on a weekend where you've got that bumper Saturday or Sunday edition. But for a daily paper, potentially this could be a way to deliver an edition Monday through Friday where you don't actually have print any longer. The fifth point on the commercial benefits slide is actually premium advertising opportunities. Now, for many publishers, they're seeing themselves increasing as a subscriber-based business, but they still do have strong advertising ties within their local or national community, and obviously for magazines as well. Premium high-end glossy magazines will still have premium high-end advertisers because they just can't reach those audiences in many other ways. So we're actually delivering a premium high-end product here in a way to re-engage those advertisers and deliver something where media agencies perhaps are moving print spend away to the digital duopoly or to the social media sites. So for top of the funnel, high engagement, high brand experiences, we feel this high touch product could really fit those needs. Some secondary commercial benefits have also become apparent during the creation process, and also looking at the wider market and examples in different countries as well. So we can see publishers being able to use this solution to actually create specials and supplements. So recently we had the US midterm elections, which was a boon for many of our US regional titles. You've got Brexit happening today here in the UK, happening or not happening. And then certainly sports season, political events, and then property and business. All those traditional media specialities can be really well delivered as optimized specials. It might only be a way to engage 2 or 3 advertisers, but from a subscriber perspective, it's adding value to that premium offering. Now, the edition versus replica piece is mainly trying to tackle the idea that publishers might have a fear that this type of solution can cannibalize an existing and established high-value audience, maybe alienating the e-paper readers. Now, we're actually designing this in a really flexible way that actually maximizes and caters to that existing audience. Over the years, we've seen publishers rubbish e-paper and often getting a backlash from their subscribers on the basis of that. So our solutions are actually tailored to help the publishers and subscribers on that long-term paid-for content journey rather than fight it. There's also a commercial benefit to optimizing your experience. Now, there'll always be people that love e-paper, and there'll always be people who love the websites and the print. But there will be a percentage of your audience, and they might not be vocal yet, who would love a mobile and tablet optimized edition. And it might even be a way to, like we mentioned earlier, to attract a new audience who previously had dismissed maybe a solution because it was seen as outdated or what have you. But this finishable feel really delivers against the endlessness of the web, and it gives people that highly curated, high touch experience. And that cover to cover experience is really important to a subscriber as it resonates with them as high value too. We've touched on it a couple of times, but we're constantly reinforcing this automation concept, and what that enables you as publishers to do is in an ideal world, get to 100% automation, but still have editorial control if you want. So we're reducing the costs attributed to some of the mass market CMS solutions available in the marketplace, or maybe some of the more custom built angles that publishers can go down by using something that's maybe more off the shelf, that's been built by people who understand automations, as we've proven with our e-paper expertise. That can really be a game changer for you. It means there's no more cutting and pasting from a separate CMS. There's no more hours of designers' time piecing together editions. And the world over, we're seeing publishers with stretched resources or even inefficiently deployed teams. And this is a way to combat that. So we've got 2 videos here for you today, and it's 2 different ways to actually present your app in our new solution. The first off, with this flow, is more of a traditional newspaper feel, where you start with the front cover and then you go into the top news section with the top news story of the day. As you can see, there's an MPU unit there, followed by an interstitial, which are premium advertising opportunities. You can then go through the more stories as you would a paper, and even pick up into a new section. So if I wanted to go into sport, I would see the top 6 stories picked by the editorial team or the automation today, but actually there's another 9 stories that I could swipe through and read through after that. So that's more of a traditional newspaper or magazine experience, where you get an overview of the content to begin with, the top picks, and then the rest of the stories attributed to that section can be swiped through and enjoyed thereafter. The second example, yes, it's got a different look and feel, but actually this is down to the styling and the branding and the fonts that we've deployed. The templates we are using are in fact very similar. It's the flow of the edition and the reader experience that's the main differentiator to look out for. So first off, you start again with the front cover, you swipe through, and the first thing that you'll notice is that every article within a certain section is given a position on one of these curated front pages. Again, you get that premium interstitial advertising opportunity, but that's between sections rather than between articles. You can then tap into an article to get the article navigation. In the first video, you saw a 3-column view, quite traditional with a newspaper, but that's a template choice. That can be applied to this flow as well. We're just showing the single column view because it's another template available to you and publishers. It really depends on your audience and what their preferences would be. Swiping through, you tap on the menu, you saw you can jump into a section and all of those articles are quickly visible. Then you can hit back and go back to the front page. So those are the 2 different flows from a front-end perspective that we can deliver. I think a lot of people on this webinar will also be interested to see what the back-end side of things are. So I'll pass over to you now, Ben.
Yeah, so in this slide, what we've shown is kind of a top-level overview of the workflow for creating and setting up an app, and then for creating and setting up an edition. So the first step is mapping feed content into the portal, and what this allows us to do is understand your content, and that could be things like headlines, article body, images, videos, and other sort of additional metadata. And also for any existing publishers we work with, we're able to extract articles from your PDFs and use that content to create an edition. You can then go in and style the app and customize with branding, which we're going to show a bit later on. And also we're going to show how you create a flat plan and how you schedule an edition with that. From there, your app's ready to launch, and editions will be created from the feed with no additional work. However, editors are still able to go in and edit an edition if they wanted to.
So the idea being, actually, once you've gone through this process on setup with us, which we'll guide publishers through, how automated could this be on a for a daily paper or a magazine or what have you?
Yeah, so for a daily paper, once you've got everything set up, there's no additional work you really need to do. Of course, if you wanted to go in and edit an article, if you wanted to go in add images or videos, then that option's still available, and we're going to see that. But from that perspective, you would have no extra work to do once you've hit that schedule button.
Perfect. So next we're going on to customization, and this is actually just to demonstrate that during the setup process with PageSuite, this is the area where we'll set up your app, iOS or Android, or your web edition.
Yeah, so we've just highlighted here, we can edit things like the fonts, and we can change colors and sizes, but we can also edit a lot of different things in the app and how it looks, so colors, how the menu appears, and you can also change things like your logo, so you'll be able to do a whole rebranding, and these changes will happen live in the app, so you wouldn't have to resubmit to the App Store if you wanted to change things like that.
Perfect.
Another slide, of course, which I was talking about earlier, was how we map up feeds. So we use a URL for live feeds, maybe website feeds, and then we can link those up to sections which come through in the Flatplan, which we're going to show in a video. So in this video we've got here, this is the Flatplan editor we've got, and the first screen there is Flow A or Flow B, which is to do with what Ben was talking about and how the two different apps sort of
two videos.
Yeah, are slightly different and how they work differently. But once you go into there, you start creating your sections. So here we've got some pretty standard sections. So we've just got news, business, sport, and what we do is we link that up to a feed you created earlier, which comes from obviously your web feeds. That's obviously got your article content in it. We also have the ability to add a color to that. So that color's used to give you a bit of a highlight in the app, so you sort of helps you know where you are. And then
differentiates different sections.
Different sections, of course, yeah. And also you can create one of these flat plans for different days and for different schedules. So once we've completed the sport one here, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to see how once we go into one of these sections, we're able to add a section front and add articles in there. So this one, similar to the Flow A. So what we can do is we can add a template. So when you get this portal system, it will have a set of templates in it already. So there's your iPad and your phone templates. You can select those. You can then add an article count in there. So there'll be how many articles you can scroll through. And you also have the ability to add interstitial adverts inside that flow. So you can position those wherever you wanted to. And after you've created that, you can then clone that section. And that's basically that flat plan completely set up. You would then, if you wanted to have it scheduled, you'd never have to then change that flat plan unless you really wanted to.
So most news publishers will be following a similar format on a daily basis, where they've got the front cover, they've got their local news date, maybe national news, business, sport, and then they'll have a weekend flat plan which you could set up separately as well, which maybe has the lifestyle magazines, it's got property, it's got cars and all sorts of stuff.
So we can have separate feeds, separate sections for different flat plans, and then they sort of tie into the scheduling, which we're going to show now. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Showing the edition editor, and what we do in here is basically once you've created an edition, you'll be able to edit the content of that edition. So you go in, you jump straight into a section. You're able to change the front page template, so swap it out for a different one. You're also able to change the order that articles appear in. So if you wanted to move something up, then you're able to, and also you'll be able to change the article order in the flow. You can then go into specific articles themselves and change that content. So you're able to make any changes you want to, but you're also able to upload videos or extra images to create an image gallery. And those changes happen in real time. So if you've got an iPad in front of you, you're able to see that change updated straight away in the app. So there's no need to download any zip files or anything and upload them to a test app. You're able to see that live straight away.
I guess this is where you've got something that's highly automated, but actually if something's breaking news or something emerges throughout the day or the evening that you want to reprioritize, it's very simple to go into the backend system and create that, or reposition it, make those changes.
Exactly.
Okay. And the live editing as well, I mean, that's very important from my perspective, because it means there's no downloading of those test apps that some other solutions have. There's no big zip requirements, and that delivering sort of on the fly instant updates means it's all real time. There's no lagging or legacy or intricate sort of design or development work required.
Yeah, it's really easy to see how those changes actually look in the product that's used. Cool. So after that, we're just going to have a quick look at scheduling. So what we're able to do is add a date and a time for a specific schedule, and that can be a one-off, or you can set that up to repeat daily or weekly and link that with a certain flat plan. So as Ben was saying earlier, you might have a different flat plan for a weekend, and you can schedule that to run at the weekend, but you'll have different sections during the week.
Cool. So, I mean, as you can actually see from the visual here, on the right-hand side, you've got a morning edition, you've got an afternoon edition. We've sort of using some of the use cases that we feel are relevant. Then you've got the evening special, or you've got the special section, and that just is a great way for publishers to be able to have preset templates ready to rock, ready to go at the different times of day, or if you're a magazine publisher during different periods during the year, have it already pre-established. You don't need to redo the work at all.
No, not at all. It's already there to go.
Okay, great. So out of the box, we've got a lot of templates available to publishers when this solution goes live. And we've got multiple front covers. We've got multiple section fronts. We've got multiple page fronts, which is on the secondary video we showed, which is where you've got multiple articles on one place. And then you've got multiple article templates too that you can choose from, be it the 3-column, 2-column, 1-column. And what this enables you to do is launch with PageSuite and have something that's out of the box, ready to go, map all your feeds, schedule your editions, and go live to the various app stores and on the web. However, because we're PageSuite and we've got design capabilities and the flexibility to offer it, if you want something specific building and uploading to your own account, if you've got a template that you absolutely need that we've not got out of the box, we can build that for you. Now, we've got styles that are really suitable to magazines, styles that are suitable to tabloids, broadsheets. And the thing that we're finding whilst we're doing the build process and working with some of the beta clients, it's really important for you to consider where this content is coming from and what your business model is. We could very easily say to you, you should be using this template, you should be using that template. But actually, you understand your market and you'll be better educated than us to be able to make decisions on which templates are most suitable for your brand. And we can work with you then on getting that set up and as automated as possible from then on in. I think now we're actually going to be doing our first poll, which is we're really looking for your instant and gut reaction to, we've got a slight technical hitch, I believe, with the poll, which we're working through. Let's see if we can launch this up. Okay. Unfortunately, Sean, I don't think our poll's happening today, is it?
How unfortunate.
Okay, well, that's a shame. So what we'll do, if it's okay with everybody who's listening, because we've got 3 polls on the webinar today, and we really wanted your feedback. This first poll was going to be about which use case do you actually see being of most interest to you as a publisher. So all of those use cases I talked about, the evening edition, the creating new products, the engaging new audiences, replacing print, we need a bigger pool of feedback to help us with our product development and also to guide us as we're going forwards, and we'd really appreciate your feedback on that. So we'll send out those polls afterwards as part of the follow-up, won't we, Sean?
Yes, we will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's just carry on. We've got the driving engagement piece, which is essential to our feed-based products, our e-paper products, and now our edition-based solution. It's great having all this content, and we like to think that we can package it up across the different products in a really nice way, but publishers are always looking to bolt pieces in to help drive engagement. The first of which is push notifications. We've got our own solution, which is out of the box. If you want to go deeper into push and have segmentation, rich media elements to it, then you can use maybe something like Urban Airship, which we have an API integration with. We've also done tons of API integrations with CMSs before, people like NewsCycle, ATEX, eCNIC, you name it, we've integrated with them, and that enables us to get tons of rich media content like videos, images, as well as all of the section headers, author names, headlines, and that enables it to come through really nicely. And we've also got puzzles as well, which we can integrate with from an API perspective, like Puzzler Media, Press Association. Another important piece within our offering is going to be subscriptions as well. And out of the box, we've got 3 available models to you. So the first of which is the hard paywall. So for the edition-based product, you can lock that fully down and charge customers to be able to gain access to that. If you've got the e-paper component in there as well, you can actually just lock down the e-paper and have the edition products available for free. And we also have a metering element where you can preset the amount of articles that somebody can consume for free before the paywall drops, right, Ben?
Yeah, so you can set that number to be whatever you want, so that's quite flexible there. And then you're able to, as a user, you'll be able to go through and you can sort of see insight to the article, so you might be able to see a headline in the start of it, and then you can choose to read that if you wanted to, if it interests you.
We've also got in-app subscriptions through iTunes and Google Play for the app-based product, and those are time-based subscriptions, as you can see on the visual here. And with the app stores, like some of them provide the opportunity to offer free trials. We will, of course, enable you to do that. For the web-based progressive web app solution, the HTML5 edition product, you can use our standard web-based page subscriptions. And then for both the web and the app, if you've got your own paywall solution, such as MPP, one of our partners, or Piano, or Zuora, or any other, even your own system, we've got many pre-built APIs, or we could very simply do an API that would enable you to give people complimentary access to this product, maybe upsell it as part of a bundle. If you've got your own metering technology that you want to deploy, we can certainly build that in as well. It's giving you a great level of flexibility with what is a very important piece in the Edition product, obviously the monetization. The second monetization piece is advertising, and although although it's quite maligned at the moment, the advertising part of for printed papers and for e-paper, this is a great opportunity for publishers to re-engage with advertisers in a wholly new way. And you can see from the visual, we're giving them some really premium positions, including interstitials, the MPUs, and banners. Of course, we've got an integration with DFP. Now, that doesn't mean you need to serve them and deliver the Google's inventory. You can use it as the technology platform that you then deliver your own premium inventory through. There's also a little bit of demand as well down the road that we're seeing for print advertisers to be part of this, almost in a hybrid approach, whereby we're looking at extracting print adverts and then creating positions for them to slot in against covers, sections, and articles, which could be quite interesting. And that then allows everybody, be it advertisers in a traditional e-paper or printed product, or digital advertisers more used to web-based advertising, an opportunity to get a position within this type of product. From a market perspective, I always look at the Times of London, who reportedly say to print advertisers, if you're going to advertise in print, you have to also advertise in our edition-based product that they themselves built internally at News UK. And then they upsell for a certain percentage that position, which I think is a really interesting thing for ad sales teams to get their head around, because you don't want to just be selling this on a CPM basis, i.e. impression-based metric, because the time that is being spent in these products will be significantly higher than on a website, but the volumes will be lower. So it's a much more high value premium audience position rather than a mass market appeal.
Just going to try that poll once more, Ben, see if we can start playing ball. No, still not. Okay. No.
It was worth a go.
Yeah.
No problem. So another important part of being a global publishing solutions provider is being able to provide our solutions in multiple languages. So as with the e-paper and our other things, no matter where your audiences are, we'll be able to deliver this technology so it works and is translated into whatever local language it is that you use. Also, if you look at the visual on the right-hand side, there's the option to be able to use the actual in-app or in-edition translation opportunities. So in markets maybe with large multicultural or multi-language audiences, you're not alienating that audience, and actually you can use it maybe as a selling point to actually attract them in. Okay, so what have we got coming soon into the product? The app solution, so for iOS and Android, is already very, very far advanced, and we're looking at a Q1 launch for that with a couple of launch partners who we're working closely with, depending on their marketing strategy. The next thing hot off the blocks will be the PWA, which is the web-based edition, and we've had some great feedback, particularly in North America, where we know that the web solution actually is more important maybe than the app market. So I think the point here is we're delivering the solution, but depending on where you sit, where your market is, market preferences, do you use a ton of email marketing, therefore web will be bigger, do you use push notifications, therefore app will be bigger, and this product can work within your strategy. Currently the PWA is sitting within our HTML5 team, and we've actually got a video that we can show you of how that will look and feel on the web. It's going to load up and it will show you actually what the edition product will look like in Safari on an iPad. So again, quite similar to the app versions we showed earlier. It's got that front cover, you get that finishable edition product, where it's start, middle, and an end. You've got premium advertising opportunities again. In terms of the user interface and user experience, it's not dramatically different from the app, except, I mean, Ben, are there any dramatic differences in terms of the performance or the product in terms of the web versus app?
No, I guess one of the main points of a PWA is that it feels just like a native app. So it sits alongside your apps on your home screen. And the aim really is that people don't notice too much of the difference between the two. However, one, obviously, you can open straight up in your browser.
Yeah, and because of that, as you can see from this visual, we actually have a desktop solution as well. Now, at the moment, because the Edition product is primarily designed and optimized for mobile and tablet, that's where the majority of our resources and product development has gone into. You might actually feel that on a bigger screen, the e-paper, the replica form is still easily navigable and readable, and you might not actually want an optimized desktop version, but we are saying that down the line, we will be creating an optimized desktop edition as well. So yeah, for complete clarity, tablet and mobile editions coming first very, very soon, but where this has obviously got a web output as well, it can be viewed anywhere, therefore it can be viewed on desktop, therefore we have to cater it to it. So the other piece as well is Siri shortcuts, right, Ben?
Yeah, so one of the latest additions in iOS 12 is these Siri shortcuts, and what a user can do is create a shortcut phrase within the app to trigger a different event. So for example, read the latest news. Siri will then respond with some of the latest headlines from your app. And we're also working on a shortcut to help download in editions to read offline at a later time.
Sounds good. And the final piece is more of a nod to what we've done for many years with HTML5 and app products. You know, we'll obviously be talking to people like yourselves on here and creating more advanced options, plugging in things like analytic solutions. And we've got a pre-built bank of templates, but no doubt we'll be adding on to that as well and building more as we progress throughout the year. Okay, so now we're on to our question and answer session, and I think there's been a couple of questions that are coming out.
Yes, there has been.
Yeah,
there's been a few already. So one of the first questions that we've got is, when's it available?
Okay, so I think I might have touched on it, but the first live clients will be going live Q1 next year, and it will be available to newspapers and magazines in all different markets, also within that quarter too.
Yep.
And that will be the app solution and the web solution as well.
Okay, great. So second question, probably one for you, Ben. What if I can't produce feed content?
So what we do is we can extract articles from PDFs, and then they'll be able to be incorporated similar to feeds straight into the portal. So we can create basically a like for like of the replica and then one of these new digital editions.
Cool.
Okay, so another question we've got coming. Do you see this replacing the replica e-paper?
People have been predicting the demise of the e-paper since I first joined PageSuite in 2009, and what are we, 9 years later, and it's actually more popular than ever because it resonates with people as a paper product. Obviously, it's an exact replica of print, and that's something that people love. So no, I don't think it's the demise of the e-paper. I think, as with anything, if people love it, it will still be in existence. I think this does enable publishers an opportunity to attract a new audience. Maybe long term, see if they can move people onto that. Maybe create new business models around it that they weren't being able to deliver quite so easily with e-paper. So, you know, in the States recently, we've seen a couple of publishers do things like afternoon editions and evening editions through e-paper. And it's, from what I understand, it's worked quite well and they look really good. But actually with this, you could take it a notch further up as well.
Okay, great. So quite a few questions here. So what's the turnaround time for this edition app?
Well, there's two things to that. I think to create the app, iOS or Android in the first place, it'd be similar to our other app products. So I think you'd be on launch looking at 6 to 8 weeks, plus time if you've got API integrations. For the web-based solution, because you're not sending to an app store, it'd be less. You can deliver a web-based solution a lot quicker than the app. But actually, how quickly can an edition be delivered? If that's the question, Ben, you were telling me earlier, it's
a
pretty
couple
quick.
of minutes, really. Yeah, once you've got everything set up, you get the feed set up, Flatplan, schedule, those editions from start to finish are just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. So hopefully that's answered whichever question you wanted to get.
Yeah, no, it has. Yeah.
Okay.
So one other question we've got here. So, do we get full access to the portal?
Yeah. So everything I was showing through the presentation, mapping of feeds, editing editions, creating schedules, and flat plans, all of that will be available from the beginning. So publishers will have full access to that.
I think one of the questions we're struggling with the ability to actually access some of them, and that's not anyone on the webinar's fault. It's actually a technology issue, and hence why the polls didn't work. But I think one of the questions is actually asking, have we got any evidence about how edition solutions can help deliver?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, we've got it. Have you any evidence? Oh, okay, it's actually about subscribers. So can we click on that one? Fourth one down. Subscribers will be able to differentiate between the replica, the edition app. Awesome. That is honestly the biggest thing that I've questioned that I've come up against when I've been presenting this to some of our clients and leads already. So the question is, have you any evidence that subscribers will be able to differentiate between the replica, the edition app, and what's online for free? It's a great question, a great point. I think one of the challenges that we see is how this product fits in with your existing product portfolio. And because the solution has got multiple templates, you, the publisher, can actually control where or when this solution and product and edition is offered versus the e-paper. So actually, you've got a real lot of control over how you do that. Because I was seeing somebody this week, and they said, what we'd hate to do is update our app, and all of a sudden the edition product be front of house and the e-paper disappear, and they'd be getting calls into their call center going, hang on, where's my replica? So we get that, which is why there's multiple templates. And I think who selects what will differ depending on who their audience is and where they're based.
Okay, so another question here. Will interstitial advertising be expanded to the ability to add more than one interstitial ad in an edition?
Yes.
Yeah, so
100%.
Yeah, so based on the flat plan, an interstitial ad can be placed kind of anywhere. The one we were mapping out in the video we showed, we had one interstitial per section, but you'll be able to set those up completely independently of the article, so you'll be able to put those wherever you chose to.
Yeah, I mean, in a live environment, we've got publishers using interstitials just within the e-paper, and they're putting in every 5-6 swipes. So,
okay, great. Someone's asked about analytics tools here as well. What are the possibilities with that?
Well, we've got Google Analytics straight out of the box, as we do for all of our other solutions.
And in the portal, we're working on a dashboard screen that shows you. You'll be able to choose what you want to be able to view on that dashboard, but you'll be able to see active users, where your users are coming from, and what your most popular editions and most popular articles are. So we integrate that through Google Analytics.
Okay, great. So the polls seem to be working again now. So we're just going to pop one of those up on screen. It'd be great if you could take part in that. We'll just give you a few minutes to do that.
Yeah, so these are the 3 polls that we tried to launch earlier, but because of technical difficulties, we weren't able to. But if you're still here and you wouldn't mind answering this, would be really, really useful for us from a product perspective. So it goes back to almost one of the first points that we were discussing during the webinar, which is what's the use case for the solution. So just to remind you, Ben went to the States and there was a couple of brands talking about relaunching an evening edition. Could it be that you actually create a new brand? Could this be that you replace your replica with something like this, or target a brand new audience, or indeed using it for more specials and supplements? So some initial feedback is actually against the feedback that we had from a couple of North American clients about relaunching editions. That doesn't seem to be as popular. Specials and supplements, targeting new audiences, as I predicted, that would be high. Do you know, that's really, really useful. So we're going to share those results now. Targeting new audiences and using it for specials and supplements has come out in front, with the ability to replace replica, launch an evening edition further behind. And actually somebody did it last minute, wanted to create it as a brand new edition. We also have a second poll. Again, really sorry this wasn't during the webinar flow, pushing our luck a little bit, but we'll quick fire the polls if you wouldn't mind responding to this as well. So this is relating to the advertising question. What advertising model, when looking at this solution, do you think you would actually adopt? So do you think you'd use it to upsell print advertisements and actually replicate what's exactly in the print and stick that into the digital version? Would you create brand new revenue streams from digital only adverts, such as the interstitials? Do you think you would deploy this with no advertising at all? Or do you think it'd be something where you looked at sponsored or native content? Okay, so some early indications in saying there's one big driver here, which
definitely a huge winner there, isn't there? So creating new revenue streams for digital adverts, which is really interesting.
Yeah, great to see. Now, I think there's a couple more questions coming in, so should we answer those and then do the final poll? Can this be embedded into an existing app? If you're an existing PageSuite customer with an e-paper app, we see this as an opportunity for you to be able to add to that. I think going forwards, if you've got an app with a different vendor, it might be something that we build an SDK on, depending on demand.
We definitely are talking about the possibility of creating an SDK for this product. So
yeah,
definitely could happen.
Okay. Does the voiceover on iOS and Android work with the new app, Ben? Do you know what that is?
Voiceover. I'm not sure.
Are they talking about Siri shortcuts there,
yeah,
maybe?
That could be the Android version of the Siri shortcuts. I'm not entirely sure, but we are working on the Android version of Siri shortcuts. I'm not sure whether that's voiceover.
Should have brought an Android developer.
We probably should have done. That would have been handy.
We can follow up with you on that question, but thanks for sending that in.
Yeah, and just one other question we got here. Does this model support paid apps?
Yes, it does. Definitely. I mean, we've interestingly on that side of things, not just with this solution, but with e-paper solutions and our feed-based apps. With Apple, we're actually starting to see the ability to actually create an account through an in-app purchase that then gives you the data on the customer back into like your CRM if they subscribe through an in-app purchase, and then you can remarket to them. Traditionally, Apple have taken 30% net of any in-app subscription, but if that subscriber stays recurring within an app subscription for over 12 months, they actually drop that to 15% now. So yes, it will support that and any other paywall models going forwards.
Okay, great.
Are we gonna? We've got one more poll and then we're going to end it.
Yes, we are.
This is where everyone disappears.
So here's the final poll.
Yeah,
it'd be really appreciated if you could just take the time to fill that one in.
Yeah. So this one is: what do you see as the immediate challenge for this solution? Do you think that actually advertisers will struggle with the concept of it? Do you think audiences won't buy into it? Even though we've shown you and Ben's tried to prove that this can be 100% automated, do you still have a fear that editorial time constraints will reign? I know in Scandinavia and other markets, replica is key. So do you have a fear that this could cannibalize that? Or as actually with that first question I answered, is your main struggle how to position this alongside so many other existing products in your portfolio, which actually is coming out as number one? Now, this is great feedback for us because all of these things internally we believe we've got the answers to, but it's great to hear from you, the customers, to actually say, no, we still do have a feeling this is a challenge. So I think on that note, we've really pushed our luck with the 3 polls at the end. I do appreciate all of your responses. It's really, really useful for us because the product is still being iterated. Yeah. So I think from me, thanks very much.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for attending. We really want your feedback, so please email hello@pagesuite.com with any feedback you may have. We'll be following up this webinar with a recording so you can share amongst colleagues, and it may have a short survey in it just to get a little bit more feedback.